the disarray of yesterday.
Hey everyone, I'm Jaren, and today we are talking about James Gunn's 2021 reboot of The Suicide Squad. Now, we are all familiar with the 2016 Suicide Squad that came out, directed by David Ayer, and I gotta say, unfortunately, a lot of his vision was lost because Warner Brothers decided to tinker the hell out of it and run it through the editing room like 1,000 times until they got the version they wanted, and that's exactly what disappointed a lot of the fans. The extended version on the Blu-ray was okay. I mean, there's still a lot of footage missing from the actual trailer. Unsure if the David Ayer release cut is ever going to get released or even see the light of day for that matter. But for now, we have James Gunn's Suicide Squad, written and directed by him with full creative power, and I really enjoyed it. This is exactly what I wanted from the first movie. So in a weird way, you can look at it as a full-on reboot, or you can see it as a small sort of sequel, because, I mean, we got some familiar faces back. We got Harley Quinn, we got Amanda Waller, we got Captain Boomerang, we even got Captain Flag. The relationship of the four characters are more familiarized than they are with connective tissue to the first one. And honestly, it wouldn't be a James Gunn movie without his pals Michael Rooker, Nathan Fillion, and even Sean Gunn just returning as some sort of zany characters to fill in the plot. They also have a vibrant and poppy color spectrum, especially with the costumes. And Gunn never fails with the music choices. I got some serious Guardians of the Galaxy vibes. Now we gotta give some serious props to Margot Robbie, Idris Elba, John Cena, and, believe it or not, Sylvester Stallone. They are literally the best parts about the movie. Although I do feel like, although Margot Robbie is first billing in this movie, Harley Quinn's character felt like she took a step down. Like, there's a whole part of the story where she's kind of on her own. She has her own arc, but it's not necessarily the focus point. And I felt like she was MIA half the time. But she does have a really cool escape scene. I'm not going to talk about it because it's just awesome. Better than the jail scene in Birds of Prey. I mean that. And Idris Elba as Bloodsport, I think I enjoyed his characterization much better than Deadshot with Will Smith from the last one. I mean, it's kind of weird because their profession and like part of their backstory that involves their daughter are almost the same, but Idris Elba does it better. And John Cena, he was in this movie more and did a lot more than he did in F9. He's like the douchebag Captain America. Like, I feel like he belongs in like a show like The Boys. Like, he'd be perfect. He's just a guy you love to hate, but he's funny. He's really funny. And just like Vin Diesel being Groot, or Baby Groot for that matter, Sylvester Stallone is King Shark. And he knocks it out of the park. He is hilarious. He is cute. I feel like he's going to be a fan favorite, especially amongst the girls. Let's talk about the action in this movie. It is graphic. It is violent, bloody, and just gore galore. Like horror movie status. If you are familiar with James Gunn's other works that are not superhero stuff or lighthearted, like Slither, for example, it is whacked out. There are scenes where I felt a little squeamish, and I'm not gonna lie, even though there were some predictable moments with some characters, even though I saw it coming from a mile away, it was still shocking. I'm like, oh my god, that really happened. And the antagonist of the movie, the big boss, I'm not going to give so much details away, but I thought it was going to be silly, you know, for what it was, for what they showed even in the trailer. But what the antagonist can do, what it's capable of, and it was just nuts. It was just freaking crazy. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was kind of like, oh, that's making my skin itch. It's difficult to dive into this movie without really giving so much away, because even the first 10 minutes, if I even talk about it, it's just spoilers. I mean, full on. The trailer does a really good job with masking that. Oh, and I also forgot to mention Joel Kinnaman as Rick Flag. His characterization in this was a lot better than the last movie because I guess there was just no romance. He was less of a douchebag and more sympathetic and cool. And I know it's kind of the character, but Viola Davis's Amanda Waller has been reduced to person giving orders and yelling in the office. Um, she's still tough as nails, but I guess getting her in on the action in the David Ayer version was something else other than her just being stuck in the office all day being, hey, I'm gonna blow your head off. Now, one of the biggest problems, and I feel like it's kind of intentional because we are dealing with the Suicide Squad, and if you ever are familiar with just the amount of characters, the amount of villains in the DC universe that they have to compact in stories like this, you know, they're interchangeable characters. You know, as long as Amanda Waller is running the show, or if Harley Quinn is involved, then it's the Suicide Squad. But there is just a lot of amazing names, a lot of characters in this movie, and there's almost not enough screen time, and believe me, the movie's like over 2 hours and 10 minutes or something, but you know, it's just not enough. There's a lot of characters to cover, and sometimes there's not enough development. Even when there is development, I do like the fact that instead of using flashbacks, there were some visual aid or some visual cues, some acting chops to get us by, and it really fed into us caring about a specific amount of characters in the movie, which really did for me, and it didn't drag the movie at all. And I feel like that's what they needed to do, was keep it tight, keep it compact, but give you enough to care. Like, I know some of the filmmaking style is them jumping back and forth in time. I mean, they do it like twice, and it may seem like a derivative technique or method in storytelling, but I mean, it worked just fine. It might not sit well with a lot of others, but it works just fine. With that being said, I also like some of the transitions that they did, kind of captioning or title carding some of the scenarios they are or what they're about to do. They did it in a kind of a creative way, like they would use like blood or fire or leaves on the ground. It was, you know, you've seen this technique before, but it's still pretty cool. Overall, this movie does a really good job balancing comedy, action, and emotion. Is this better than the 2016 Suicide Squad? Yes. But do I unfamiliarize myself with David Ayer's version and just have James Gunn's version? No, because I like that both movies are actually different. It's not like the whole Justice League situation where there was like the Snyder cut, and then there was the theatrical cut where it was just passed around with everyone else. Like, I like that both movies coexist. I like that they have their own flavors and their own version of the story to tell. In a way, yeah, I kind of like to see it as that one was Suicide Squad 1 and this one was Suicide Squad 2. Are they perfect? No. But really one hell of a ride and really enjoyable. I don't know, I'm really starting to disbelieve what Rotten Tomatoes says about movies nowadays, especially with superhero movies, but we all know how that goes, and I'm not going to get into that here. But Suicide Squad, The Suicide Squad, check it out. It's in theaters, playing on HBO Max as well, and yeah, go check it out. James Gunn, you did a really good job. I admire you for what you've done. I mean, thank God you got into that whole spat about Disney firing you, because, I mean, we wouldn't have gotten this. But thank God that you're going to be back for Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and I really hope that this Suicide Squad version gets to continue on into whatever DCEU plans or universe, whatever this may tie into. But amazing stuff. Worth watching. I'll probably watch it again. Yeah. Alright guys, that was a lot to unload without saying so much. Trust me, like, I cannot spoil this movie. It is worth your experience, and especially the story. Like, the story, the trailer doesn't do it justice, and I'm glad. I am Jaren Ugbanawag. Thank you guys for watching. Look forward to more reviews, and I will see you guys next time. Okay, bye.